Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear humanity, today's subject is about Mother Nature and our friends who lives within the surroundings and the around us. We are going to go to what we call wild, and we call, some of you do describe them as wild animals. No, not indeed. They are not wild animals. Those are being Muslim living creatures dressed in the way you see them. You may look at a lion and say, oh, that's a wild animal. No, that's a living Muslim, but Allah dressed that lion that way. You may look at an ostrich, and say that is a bird. Yes, it's a living Muslim, a living creation of a being, a Muslim. But Allah chose to dress it in that kind of dress, and He chose to put it in the dress of a human being. That way, those are all living creations on planet Earth. I will remind you, men and women, that you are all living Muslims on planet Earth. And every grain of sand and soil on this planet, its origin is Islam. And every plant and every seed and everything that lives on planet Earth, its origin is Islam. So with that, as I said, we are going to look at what we call our friends, our fellow beings who we share this planet with. For instance, birds and animals like elephants and whatever. Some of our whatever we share this planet with are animals that are, we think, are domesticated animals, like a horse. Some horses, they live in the wild. Some horses, they live in the wild. So we are going to look at elephants, buffaloes, antelopes, ostrich, and so many leopards and what have you. So these are animals found within the grazing fields of the Serengeti, Ngorongoro, all the way like the one in there is one national park in Bunyolo called Queen Elizabeth National Park. We are going to look at Kidepo National Park. We are going to look at animals within all the national parks in either West Africa or East Africa, that these animals are living their natural given right to live in what we human beings classify, we say that they are wild. No, they are living that life because that is how Allah has prescribed their provision to life, to live that way. Yeah, Allah's this prescription to those living creations, either of an antelope, is to live either in a nation, what you people call national parks, or to live in the swamps, or wherever it is fine, it finds comfort, because that is Allah's prescription how this animal should live. With that, I'm sending a warning to men and women in government institutions, ministries which care for animals within our societies, within what we call animals, within our societies and countries, that my fellow Africans, especially this message goes to Africans, because that's where I think they still have what you call national parks that are contain buffaloes, wildebeests, leopards, tigers, cheetahs, you name it. My people of Kenya, my people of Uganda, my people of Zaire, my people of Rwanda, if you have any national park, my people of Angola, Malawi, Botswana, my people of South Africa, my people of Namibia, my people of this planet. Do not ever go out of your head and say, we are exporting these, you call them animals, either to Europe or America or any other country. Even in your own countries, these animals are not supposed to be in zoos. These animals, what you classify them as animals, but the provision from the most holy, glorified Almighty Allah is that the prescription of their lives is that they dress as an elephant or a peacock or an ostrich or an antelope or a crocodile or a hyena. That is a prescription, or how Allah says this being is created but free. It has freedom to live either in a national park or on this planet, wherever it is, because it's Allah who will provide for its provision. For instance, if you're to take an elephant from the wild and put it in what you call a zoo, you cannot afford to feed that elephant to have enough so that it's fully satisfied. Because when it's it's wild, what you call people wild or free, living in a free whatever, it chooses what to eat. Not you who say, I will cut this grass and this, and you don't know what Allah has prescribed for that living being. On that day, with that, you are in confrontation, you are infringing pain, and as well as physical and psychological mutilation to that living being, whether it's an elephant, a buffalo, an antelope, a peacock, and what have you. With that, I beg every African government, all the way from South Africa, that the South African government, under no circumstances should you issue a license to export either tigers or cheetahs to anywhere on this planet. To export either lions to anywhere on this, it will be kept in a zoo on this planet. They were created, and Allah, with His divine holy interpretation of their location, was in South Africa. Under no circumstances should you psychologically put them under such mutilation and export them either to America or Europe. Because when they get in Europe, their life is totally miserable. They are caged. They are caged in cages, what they call zoos. Even in your own country, I would request the ministers who are responsible for either wildlife to visit a zoo with a land scholar who learns the behaviors of animals. To a minister who say he's a minister of wildlife, to visit a zoo with a land scholar of behaviors of animals. Then if that minister goes to the zoo in his own country, he will observe that indeed these animals, when they are in the zoos, or what you call them animals, I call them beings, Muslim living beings, but they are dressed in the dresses of either an elephant or a cheetah or a lion or a leopard or a dog, whatever. That is how Allah decided to dress them. But their provision is either whether you feed them or don't feed them, they will have something to give. So long as they are in their wild, or what you call free wild environment where they live, not in zoos or cages. With that, my people, What you don't know that these so-called beings, they can easily make a cry to Allah, and Allah will kind of respond by punishing a people who took away the freedoms of these beings, while men and women say, we are taking them to the zoo in order to encourage promotion of tourism around the world, whereby in modern times of today, anyone can fly anywhere, from anywhere to anywhere. So there should be no issuing of licenses to export any animal. What you people call animals, they're not animals, they are living beings. Once you take them out of their natural, freely living wildlife environment, then you are imposing psychological mutilation and physical mutilation to their being, and you're denying them the liberty, the nature given the right for them to live freely anywhere on this planet. With that comes with a cost. Being able to issue a license, you as an individual minister, I don't know whether you know that when a lion or whatever sleeps under a tree, it sees that as its palace. While you are in your either two-room bedroom house, the lion when it's under a tree, it sees that as a palace, a very, very beautiful, decorated by Allah, not by the hands of men which sometimes are filthy. So with that, as ministers in any government on this planet, do not issue licenses to export your fellow cousins, sisters, though they are dressed in what you call animals. They are beings that worships Allah 24 hours a day. Whereas you humans, sometimes you cannot even fulfill the 5-time prayers that we are prescribed for every human being. I do kind of ask, because I'll give you an example before I go. In China where I lived more than 10,000 years ago, the people of China, wherever they send their favorite cousin, the panda, the Chinese panda or the panda, they have to lay the regulations of how this animal lives. And if in any way it's visited by a Chinese council every 2 days or every week to find out how is it happy. If it's not happy, those people, the Chinese, they respect life. They will have to take it back to China so that it lives in an environment where it is comfortable. With that, Africans, for many years, you people have cried why there are wars within yourselves, within domestic wars, one after another, a tribe after this, tribe after the other, this and that. Long time ago, these so-called animals, they used to be clans. And if you are under the clan of a lion, that means any lion is the head of your own household. If you turn around and say, oh, I'm going to issue a license and export a lion to either Europe, you are committing a very deadly criminal act against your own family, as well as against your own country and your own self as a living human being. With that, I pray, I pray that human beings of the African government do not ever issue any license, even to export a parrot to any country. Anyone who wants to visit or to look at a parrot, let them come from wherever they are and visit those animals or those living beings within their freely kind of beautiful environment where they feed without having to be told or tortured, psychological or mutilated psychological or physical. It's very, very sad to live in a cage. No one would like to live in one. With that is a message to every government, starting all the way from South Africa to West Africa, and as well as Ethiopia, and any country that has what we call living, well, you call them animals, I call them beings that are dressed in such dresses that you may look at a chicken in your compound, or a horse or a goat in your compound, and you say, this is a god. Yeah, he is a living Muslim. He's a god, but he's a living Muslim. And when Allah created that god, he said that the best thing that you ever make you happy on planet Earth is grass. When the god eats grass, each leaf of the grass is a living capital letter, a living letter A, which starts for Allah. We in Islam, we have what we call, we say, Ashahad Allah ilaha illallah. Letter A is terminology, is Allah Akbar, Allah Alpha and Omega. And that is one of the best and sweetest thing on this planet. Ashahad Atakbil, as well as Ashahada, Surata, Mustaqim. Men and women, do not cause Allah to retaliate and send wrath over men because of their fitna to their own lives. Islam is the most holy, beautiful religion, and Allah created and dressed whatever being He created in whatever He wanted to. So men, do not go out of your heads and cross the boundaries. With that, Mother Nature or Allah will retaliate in order to punish those who cross the boundaries of the holy divine prescriptions of laws, divine laws. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.